What's up, my YouTube family? It's your boy Berto checking in with another video, guys. Yeah, I know I'm looking rough. I'm trying to grow the beard in. At least I'm trying again. Last time I cut it off, but this time I'm gonna see how long I grow. But I'll probably eventually cut it off. It makes me look older and I look a little rough. I don't like that rough look. So a lot of you guys have been messaging me saying, my thoughts on the Russian and the Ukraine border situation. And I'm gonna tell you exactly what's happening and what's going on. And also, there was a little confrontation between Taiwan and China. So basically, China was trying to intimidate Taiwan and basically invading their space and getting closer and closer to their territory, flying in their airspace, doing little things trying to intimidate Taiwan. But in the same sense, China was trying to see how much they could do before the U.S. interferes, and how far would the U.S. go. So basically, that got shut down quick because the United States stepped in and sent. I guess they basically intimidated China. So that situation fizzled down real quick. But Taiwan was very scared of what may happen. They didn't know if China would try to invade them, because China basically, I guess, wants their territory, or they want to have a huge political influence on them. And when it comes to stuff like that, everybody wants to be the global leader of the world. So having a political influence on a lot of countries helps your situation. And that's the United States right now, who has a huge political influence on everywhere else. And, a lot of countries need the U.S. The U.S. has a lot of allies, the most powerful military in the world. And that's what brings us over to the Russian and Ukraine border situation. So Russia is putting Ukraine in fear that they're going to try to invade them. They've been coming in, getting closer and sending more troops closer and closer to the border, putting more troops at the border. And, just a lot of intimidating things they're doing, basically trying to see how far they could go before the United States and the Western countries stepped in. Well, United States definitely didn't back away. Ukraine was calling for help from Western countries, basically saying that, they need to put sanctions against Russia for, if they decided to evade Ukraine. But that's not going to happen because, like I said, the United States stepped in. And I'm going to tell you guys why Russia and China are not ready for conflict with the United States. One is, the United States has a lot of allies. And because everybody's scared of the United States and they want to stay on the United States' good side, people are going to side with them in almost every situation. Even if the same countries have mutual allies, they're going to side with the United States. Another thing is, when they go at war with these, and say Ukraine and Russia got into a war, United States is going to sell weapons to Ukraine. They're probably going to give them weapons to defend themselves, give them things to defend themselves, which will hurt Russia in the long run. Not only that, the United States is the only country in the world that has the ability to attack any country in the world with no problem. That is the issue with China and Russia. They're limited to how far they can get with bombing. They could never make it over to the U.S. bombing the U.S. It couldn't happen, but the U.S. could bomb them with no problem. That is a big fear of Russia and this Ukraine situation, because they can't do anything to the United States. So even if the United States was to butt in, nothing Russia could do to stop the United States. They would just have to basically fight Russia. They would have to fight against the U.S. and Ukraine. That is not a problem they want. And that's why they got, U.S. was basically blocking Russian ships in at the Black Sea, I believe, just doing all types of things to Russia. And Russia said, if Western countries interfere, it would be huge consequences or whatever. But that's not the case, because the United States is in the best possible spot in the world. with only 2 countries neighboring them, one being above, which is Canada, and one being underneath them, which is Mexico. The United States is not in no fear of being invaded. China has the most countries surrounding them to be invaded. Like if China went to war defending the border of Taiwan, they got 14 other countries surrounding them. 14 other countries. So on that note, with them having so many countries, surrounding them, that will put them in the fear of getting invaded from several different ways. Several different ways. And on top of that, Russia is not equipped to deal with the United States. In a war, Russia cannot deal with the United States in a war right now. They definitely can't. It would do so much damage to their country to go to war, because eventually the war would end up in their country. So more than likely World War III won't happen on that situation, based off of those situations, because Russia and China will continue to back away from the United States because of how they're situated and how it's so easy for the United States to reach any other country in the world. Our biggest issue, if a country wanted to invade America, would have to be Canada or Russia, and that wouldn't be pretty for them because their militaries are very weak, and it would be a slaughter. It would be a slaughter. And as of right now, that's how it would be with every country. The United States could probably battle the United States can battle a lot of countries right now. Our military is so powerful, and I'm not just bloating it up because it's my country, but this is just how it is. Everybody's intimidated by the United States. Whether they say it or not, they are. So Russia will continue to test their luck with the Ukraine situation. But at this point, they've backed away, and they're probably going to continue to back away. They're not going to fly in their airspace anymore. Not going to probably dish off more troops at their border anymore because of fear of the United States butting in. And if a war starts, they already know it's a war they won't win. Russian military is nowhere near what it was when the Soviet Union was running Russia and all that stuff was going on. It's nothing like that. Russia is nowhere near ready to deal with the United States in a war. And it would cost them billions of dollars, and it would set their country back so far. And some of the sanctions the U.S. would probably put on them would probably starve some of the people. And that's China's biggest issue, because China has so big of a population. They would get starved to death if they decide to go at war with the United States, because they would block off a lot of trades, them importing food and stuff like that. Yes, the United States needs China, but because China really doesn't have a lot of natural resources, the United States does. Not a lot, but we have enough to get by. Excuse me. And if our country was to, have trade shut off and stop from coming, it wouldn't affect us like it would affect China. China's population is too big, and it would set them back so far. The people would start starving. They wouldn't be able to provide their military. Just so many different things. And Russia just is not equipped to deal with the United States. We're too far away. The United States is like in the perfect spot for war, because nobody is equipped enough to even make it over here and do any damage, but we're equipped enough to go over there and raise havoc. So situations have to play out a lot more different, but as of right now, guys, there's nothing to fear. World War III would not come because of those two situations, and more than likely this will fizzle out. But World War III will come in the near future, but just not from this situation. But in order for World War III to happen, China, Russia, and the United States would have to get into it. It would take for them 3 countries to go at it in order for World War III to happen. And because everybody's intimidated by the United States, and still people know how their military fares against ours, it won't happen no time soon. But within the next 2-3 years, somebody will test their luck, guys, and we will see the start of World War III. And all those rebels that rebel in a lot of countries, yes, each country provides material, weapons and stuff for rebels, because you got to think they're going against the opposition, so they want to help fund those people so that they can weaken those countries. They can do damage, so when the war times come, they already been fighting against rebels, which a lot of accomplished countries don't have that. They don't have rebellion because their military is too powerful. People are scared to turn against them. But in countries like Chad, where the president just died at, they have rebellion because sometimes some of the military is split up and will go against the president of their country. And like I said, the president of Chad, suspiciously, he died, and they say he was fighting on the front line at the war, but from what it sounds like to me is he was killed so his son could succeed him. He had been ruling, he'd been president for 30 years, so he had just got reelected, and I think it was time for, I guess they wanted new leadership. So instead of, them following the government's way, the military basically stepped in, because in countries like that, the government's not as powerful as like in the United States. The military is not going to tell government officials what to do, but the government there basically made his son interim president for the next 18 months until they have a new presidential election. But the rebels have been going strong in Chad, and they've almost made it to the capital, but I guess Chad's military is a little bit more powerful than the rebels, so they're able to push them back. But it's a lot of fear going on in Chad. These African countries deal with this all the time, and for you guys that live in countries like myself that you don't have to worry about this, you should be happy and should be blessed, because the rebels don't care about the citizens. All they care about is overthrowing the government. So they'll do whatever's necessary, even if it's killing innocent people. So guys, don't have to worry about World War III as of right now. But like I said, in maybe the next 2-3 years, we will see it happen. And it won't be pretty. So stay woke, guys, and I'll talk to you later.